Hey everyone, it's Lexie. So in today's video I'll be doing fictional characters that I am most like. So this is a multimedia mix of characters from books, TV show, movies. I cover basically the whole span of media in this, and I think it's always interesting, especially if you read books at a younger age, identifying with a character and just kind of seeing yourself in there. I think it's really good, and I think especially a lot of the things that I talk about in here are some of my favorite, forms of media of all time. Like my favorite, movies, TV shows, all that. I think it's because I identify with the character, and it's really nice seeing someone who's I see myself in, and being portrayed within a book or movie, all that. So these are 5 characters that I think I'm the most like. So without further ado, let's get started. So I'm just going to start out with the obvious one here, and I think a lot of people identify with this character, and it is obviously Hermione Granger from the Harry Potter series. So I didn't read Harry Potter until I was going into grade 9, so I didn't grow up with her character like so many people have. So it was very interesting because I was already set in my ways and just who I was as a person when I started reading this, but it was nice to seeing a character that so much I felt like embodied a lot of my personality traits. I love school, I'm very studious. I think she's a bit more kind of bold in the classroom. I was always the quiet student that was really smart and then would do her own thing, but she was a bit more bold in the classroom. But I think it was good to see a character who's not afraid of being intelligent and smart, and kind of using that as a using that as a strength and not being ashamed of that. I feel like a lot of girls are see being intelligent as a weakness, and it was very nice seeing a character that I related to so much that wasn't afraid of her intelligence. It wasn't anything that she was ashamed of, and I really appreciate that. And obviously, as someone who's in her PhD, I am totally a Hermione, and just that type A personality and academics and all that. So I definitely appreciated that when I was going into high school. Next would have to be Cami from the Gallagher Girls series, and I read that book. That was my equivalent of Harry Potter growing up. I read the first book, I think, when it came out when I was in grade 6, grade 7, and the last one came out when I was in grade 12. And I recently reread this series, and I do have a vlog about that experience, so I can link that in the cards down below. But basically, basically from the first sentence, I was now I know why I loved this series so much. And just Cami just struggling with kind of going into the responsibility of what is going on, her struggling with adapting to that role and having that much responsibility, and realizing that her actions have such a big consequence on those around her. And she likes being invisible. She likes kind of just being in the shadows, not the center of attention. And I really related to that, and I still relate to that now. I was just I know why I loved this series when I was younger, because I totally just liked being a wallflower. I don't like being the center of attention. Being invisible would be a dream come true. But especially now rereading the series as adult, I could relate to her so much, because over the 6 books we see her grow so much. In the first 2, it's very juvenile. She's kind of in grade 10, kind of boy crazy, and then she has to grow up, and I really related with that. I think she's smart. She doesn't see herself as a victim, and definitely I could relate to her, just her personality so much. This is another one that is near and dear to my heart, and it is Violet from the Series of Unfortunate Events. I could relate so much to her character, especially because I was I'm the oldest out of 3 siblings like she is, and I liked how, again, with Hermione, she is not afraid to be smart. She loves doing inventions, and I was totally like that when I was younger. I had a book of inventions and all the stuff I would come up with, and I appreciated having a role model like that. And I always feel even now I'm still very much like her character. She's very well read, she's very articulate, articulate, and I definitely idolized her when I was younger because I saw myself as her. And I appreciate how when she's trying to think, she always pulls her hair back in a ribbon, because I'm like, that is realistic, because I can't think. Like, if I have to take an exam, my hair has to be up and out of my face, so I related to that as well. But she was definitely a character that I admired, and I feel like I'm so much like her in many ways. Like, I'm a very stereotypical engineer, so I feel like Violet is also like that as well, so we have a lot in common. Next would be Dr. Temperance Brennan from Bones. This is probably one of my favorite shows of all time, and this show inspired me to get my second, bachelor's degree in anthropology. I'm more of a physical anthropologist, like that's what I kind of favor, and it kind of ties into what I do in biomedical engineering, so I appreciate that. But I love seeing someone who is, may not have the best social skills, but she still kind of does her thing, and she's smart, and she's not embarrassed to like let everyone know that she's smart. And I felt like I related a lot to that, because I am not the best in social situations. I'm very socially awkward. My social skills aren't the best. They've improved a lot, but they're like, I'm not like a social butterfly. But I appreciate that. And I also am like, I was always like, when I was watching that show, I think I started watching it when I was going into grade 12. So I was like, I always wish I could be like a doctor, like Dr. Brennan. Like, that is the goal, like being like a scientist and being a doctor in that field, and that's what I'm doing now. So I feel like a lot of my academic kind of trajectory has been inspired by that, and be like, I want to be like, a strong, powerful force in my field and be a doctor and all that. So I really appreciate that, and I love that show dearly. I definitely, once kind of things settle down with school, I definitely want to go back and rewatch it, because I honestly mourned when that show was over. Like, I was sad, so sad. But yeah, I definitely identified a lot with her character, and I feel just like that, very, black or white mentality of like a scientist I can relate to a lot. And lastly, I have Dr. Mara Isles from the Rizzoli and Isles, specifically the TV show, because the TV show character is very different than the book one as well. But again, following the lines of Dr. Brennan, like, she is very smart. She is also a doctor, and that's what I'm working towards. But she's also like socially awkward in those situations, like very kind of this or that in that type of thinking, and I feel I relate to that a lot. And I feel like, actually, like, me and my sister joke about this, because they're like, Mara and Jane's friendship is very much me and my sister in terms of just our personality. Like, my sister's the one who's kind of more outgoing and kind of more of a kind of dominant personality trait, and I'm more like laid back and subdued like Mara is. So it's kind of funny seeing that, because like how they react to situations is how me and my sister kind of interact. But it's funny, but I also can relate to that character where it's just like, she's intelligent, she's a doctor, and just like her weird quirks, and she's just like may not be the best socially, and I appreciate that as well, because I'm like, oh, that's so me. So that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what some fictional characters you think, best describe you and that you related to. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.